Hi guys, welcome to Urban Treats, where we show you easy recipes you can make at home. Today we are making custard cake. This is a Filipino recipe. It has a lovely layer of caramel with a lovely layer of custard and then a really nice fluffy cake underneath it. So the ingredients as always are in the description. Let's get started. First step, let's prepare the caramel, and you will find this is very similar to a Spanish flan. So what we're going to need is 1 cup of sugar, that's approximately 200 grams of sugar, and a 1/4 cup of water, and that's about 60 ml of water. We'll just add this all in the pan. We'll just give it a quick swirl so that everything is mixed properly. Now we'll set this to a medium-high heat. And you don't want to touch the sugar while it cooks, because the moment you introduce a foreign object to the sugar, it's going to crystallize and you'll have to start from scratch. The only thing we can do is when we have little crystals, we get a little bit of water, we dab a little brush, and then we just dab it around the edges so that all the crystals that are stuck on the edge of your pan just fall into the water. And you can do that occasionally while the caramel is cooking. Caramel is ready and it's going to set as soon as it starts cooling down. So you have to be a bit quick, but be careful because hot sugar is very hot and it can burn you severely. So make sure you're very, very careful. Now I have an 8-inch aluminium form here and I'm just going to pour in the caramel and I'll cover the bottom. Caramel layer is ready and we're just going to set it aside and let it cool. Careful, as I said, it's very hot. And while this is cooling, let's make the custard filling. Let's prepare the custard. For the custard, you're going to need 4 egg yolks. We'll just put them here in a bowl. We have evaporated milk, and that's 3/4 of a cup of evaporated milk. And don't forget, as always, the ingredients are in the description. And if you want the written version or the printable version of this recipe, you can check the link to my blog, which is right below in the description. Now here we have 2/3 of a cup of condensed milk. So this is the sweet, thick, sugary condensed milk. I love this stuff. I used to eat it as a kid with a spoon, but I can't do that anymore. Just pop everything in here. Doesn't matter in which order. We'll add a little bit of vanilla extract. That's approximately a teaspoon. We'll just eyeball it. And then we'll just whisk it together with an electric mixer until it's well combined. Now the custard is ready and all we have to do is pour it over our caramel layer. And this isn't the traditional custard. Once we add the batter on top, it's just going to mix together and become a nice caramel cake. Just add this here on top. Don't miss a little bit. Okay. Time to make the cake layer for our custard cake. And for that, I've got 2 separate sections here on my table. On the right side, we're going to make a meringue. That's the second part. And on the left side, we're going to make the main batter. And the meringue is going to make it nice, light and fluffy, which is exactly what we want for our cake. Let's start by adding the 4 egg yolks. Now we're using 8 egg yolks in this recipe and only 4 egg whites. If you're looking for ideas on what to do with these egg whites, make sure you check the blog. I have a few recipes in the description that will work for you. I also have 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Just add this in here. We have 100 grams of sugar. That's 1/2 cup of sugar. And we have 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. a quarter cup of orange juice, and I'm using freshly squeezed orange juice. And we'll need 1 teaspoon of lemon. There you go. Now before I add in my baking flour, I will just give these a stir. Now we add in the baking flour. So this is cake flour, which is a special flour that rises as you bake. If you don't have cake flour, again, there is a solution and you can check the link in the description to do that. Now we'll add that slowly as we mix. Okay, this part is ready. Now it might be a little bit thick, but don't worry, we're gonna add the meringue in and it's gonna loosen it up. Now, before I make the meringue, make sure you wash your mixers or the whisks, because it has to be absolutely clean and dry so that you get the best possible meringue. So I'll wash these quickly, I'll be back in a second. Our meringue has 3 main ingredients. Egg whites, we have a little bit of sugar, and we have some cream of tartar, which is gonna bring it together and make it hold much easier. Now the first step is we add the 4 egg yolks into the bowl. And as I mentioned before, the bowl has to be really clean. If you want, you can take a little bit of alcohol and wipe it out a little just to make sure there's no fat in your bowl at all. And that will make it much easier for you. Now let's start by bringing this to medium stiff peaks. We're now at medium stiff peaks, and you can see, although they hold, they still slump down when you pick them up. So this is when we know that we're ready to add the sugar, and we add the cream of tartar. And now we keep whisking until we have firm peaks. And now we have stiff peaks, you see? I can tell because they hold by themselves and they don't collapse. And these are ready for the next step. So let's just set this aside. And now it's time to combine the batter with the meringue. And for that I'm using a rubber spatula because we have to be really careful. We want to fold the meringue into the batter without breaking the little bubbles that make up the meringue. And that's going to make a nice, airy and fluffy batter. Just pop all that into the batter. And now we fold, and we just simply grab the batter from underneath and we fold it over the meringue and we slowly push it down. No rush and don't overdo it. We really just want to combine this. So as soon as you see there are no more batter clumps, we are done. The batter is ready and we can now set it on the top of our custard layer. So let me just get that one quickly. Here it is. Now the custard layer is soft, and as you add the batter on top of the custard layer, it's going to disperse a little bit, and that's completely fine. We don't mind about, because it's going to soak into the batter as it bakes anyway. Just carefully put this here on top. And we'll just distribute it a little bit, just to make sure we have an even layer everywhere. And we are ready to bake. I'm just gonna tidy up here and I'll see you for the next step. Guys, we are ready for baking, and this cake is baked in a hot water bath. The reason is water cannot reach more than 100 degrees. Once it reaches 100 degrees, it becomes steam. and that means we're gonna bake the cake at exactly 100 degrees, which is not gonna form any crusts around, and it's gonna make a lovely custard, melt the caramel, and if we did a good job, it should turn out a lovely caramel custard cake. Now, I've already preheated this water, and we'll just add the water into the roasting pan. So that's approximately halfway to the level of the pan. We'll just pop this in the oven, and this will need to bake at 160 degrees for approximately 45 to 50 minutes. But do a skewer test halfway or 3/4 of the way through to see if it sticks and if it's done or not. I'll see you when it's ready. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, leave a like, and if you want to help the channel grow, we would really appreciate if you subscribe and share the video. Now, let's go for the taste test. Are you ready? Here we go. It's super nice and fluffy. It's like a Spanish flan with a fluffy vanilla cake under it. Absolutely delicious. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.